it is truly an honor. I hope you guys know that Mariah was up here. That really means so much to me. You were here during a lot of the conversations.
Well, I love you, and I know I'm busy and trying to get things back on track, but I do always want to be here for you the way you are here for me. And if that means popping up in a box, then that's the minimum that you could ever ask for. So I can't wait to get to know you, nor know more about you. I feel like I've been a little bit selfish in the matter of so focused on Nick and not asking more and learning about you, but we're friends and I look forward to the journey and I'm not going anywhere.
I really hope that we both go to the graduation for real, if it does
We
happen.
are. I literally just told Nick, I was like, we're planning for it. He said his mom's going to come for the graduation. He said you'll get to meet his mom. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
And I can't wait to like spend time with you in that way. Even when we're not with Nick or at the graduation, we're just getting ready or hanging out, whatever. I can't wait to get to know you on that level and to hug you and just show you love. I have watched so many videos of you in the last couple of years. I've seen so much hell that you went through on your own personal side of the fence of things, and you are just a very strong woman. I can't wait to give you a
You've been
hug.
through a lot.
It
She
was
speaks
hell.
she speaks very, very highly of you behind the scenes, Mariah. Like when it's just me and Jess, or me, Jess, and Lori, or me, Jess, and Shelly. Like she's always speaking very highly of you, and she respects you a lot, and she's proud of you as
And I
well.
love her for it. I've met a lot of people on TikTok, but Heather and Jessica are the only ones who have my actual personal phone number, and that's for a reason. And I never thought that I would be blessed to meet someone, a close friend, two close friends over this app that at one point I really couldn't stand. So I'm just very grateful for it. I don't feel like I deserve it sometimes, but at the end of the day,
Yes, you do.
well, thank
You
you.
do
It's
honestly.
helping me. Y'all are helping me. I'm doing great because of it. I've accomplished a lot in these 60 days. I've kind
Yep.
of blown my mind with it, but I'm just going to keep pushing, man. Like, I love him. All that. I'm always rooting for anybody's sobriety, anybody's mental health journey. Hell, I'm on it myself. So, and Jessica, the advocate that you are, honey, any day of the week, please go to battle for me. Like,
And I love having someone like you. You and Ashley are very similar. You're very protective of your people. Lori is the same way. I know Heather's the same way with you as well. Like we have some good people in our lives that did come from TikTok. So when we talk about TikTok, sometimes we do talk about the drama, the negative side of it. There's such a positive side on the flip of that, where you get to meet someone like Ashley. Like I did not know I met her in the weirdest situation. I was
Yep.
live with Aaron Carter's fiance, baby mom, and we were doing battles together. And I was teaching her, we're hanging out, just talking, and it just kind of like spiraled into me falling into Ashley, and then her and I have developed such a strong, crazy,
You trust me though, right? You trust me.
1,000,000%. You're one
the
of
way
my
you said,
Martin, Aaron Carter's fiance, and Mariah, just to have one conversation where like streaming was used against them by their partner. They both did wrong, both did right. They both were survivors in certain situations. They both kicked ass. Both were victims. Both were the villain in situations. But like, I don't think there's anybody else in the world I can imagine that Mariah could have a relatable conversation other than like a Melanie Martin.
and I would be 100% grateful. Absolutely, I'm up for it.
Now, I don't know like how far that would go, but I just think like you guys, I don't think there's anyone else that can understand what you sat there in the hotel room and felt when like Nick would be live and you would be like stop recording or stop being like whatever would happen. Not to bring that up, but I've seen Melanie do the same thing, and I don't know what it's like to be you. I don't think anybody in the chat knows what it's like to have that kind of situation happen like you lived. But I think about Melanie and I'm like, I think she would relate to you and understand you in that way.
I used to get so mad when I was watching Nick just belittle Mariah, and I couldn't wait to talk to her later. I've always been a positive support for Mariah. I may not say things that she likes to hear all the time. I'm older than everybody here, so I've been through a lot in my life too. But
Not me.
I've always been. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Lori.
She said not me. I think she's basically how old are the two of you? If you're okay with saying.
I'm 55.
I just turned 67.
Oh, okay. But it's I've tried to be a mom to Mariah. I've listened. I've just tried to give her positive support, and I'm so proud of all the positive movement she's made. She's done a lot in 60 days herself, so I'm really proud of her.
Yeah. And Mariah, how
Yes,
long have
ma'am.
you been clean?
It's been a couple months since I've had a drink. Anything harder than that, it's been a while.
Okay.
My DOC, not to get like too personal, I don't want to get you in trouble, but my DOC was H. That was 7 years ago in
Mm-hmm.
May.
Mm-hmm.
I found my sister unalived. I'll never go back to that lifestyle. I struggled with drinking. And yeah, it's been a couple months since I've even touched alcohol. I think that the last live that got posted in the hotel room was enough for me.
Yeah.
But I
Well, I'm
still
sorry
struggle
for your
every
loss.
day. I still struggle every day. I still drive by a gas station and fight the urge to not go grab that beer. Um, I'm Cali sober, minimal, but yeah,
Well,
that's,
I'm gonna give you a couple motherly advice.
yes, ma'am.
I hope you don't mind.
No.
But congratulations on the couple months that you do have and giving up the other stuff earlier. Just remember that it's one day at a time, and you're going to have many, many, many hiccups, and you're just going to have to deal with it at the time and go past it and just go on. Don't hold on to it. And it's like being on a diet, I guess. You know, you eat something that you're not supposed to eat. Okay, so you did it. Go on. You know, get back on the horse again. And as as far as you with supporting Nick and everything like that, um, I had to come to terms with letting my son go. And it's very hard because he's my only child. And I couldn't believe that he was involved with as much as he was. And it was really hard on me because I divorced his dad. I did everything in the world that I could to give that kid a fighting chance. And then he ended up doing it
For the chat,
anyways.
really quick, I think people are not sure where this is going, so I want to make sure everybody knows that Lori's son is doing great now. He has kids, he has a wife, he lives in California. There's a punchline and a point to her story, so this is not about like someone not being here anymore. This is a story about her story, kind of communicating to Mariah. To those who are here that feel uncomfortable or feel that it's like going somewhere that you can't handle or it's too much trauma for you to hear,
No,
that's
this is my story is good and it's positive now. But I'm just trying to help Mariah knowing that she's
they're
at
saying in
some
the chat,
point.
but stay in here, but the topic is getting too happy for me. So I kind of just want to put a message in there that there's a good point to what she's about to say. So if you can hold on to hear her out, I think you should. But if you can't and it's too triggering, you are more than welcome to leave. But I want to make sure I just pointed out that point. Go ahead, keep continuing.
Girl, I'm over here crying, but I want to hear the rest.
No, but it just it took many years and it took him to realize that he was going to lose his family, his wife and the kids. And well, he relapsed several times. So, but anyways, the last time he realized it, and he's been good for 11 years now.
Awesome.
And
And
Miss Lori, that's why I'll never go back.
yeah, you got to
Sorry,
just
sorry, I'm crying. Finding my sister unalived
yeah,
was nothing I ever could imagine I'd experience.
it's
I'm
horrible.
sorry.
I'm sorry that you had to
Mariah.
deal with that. But Mariah, for yourself, you hang in there and you just keep yourself going and just pick yourself back up again.
Yeah. Small
And
goals,
be
right?
strong because
Yep.
you got it. And you could be there for Nick and support him, but
From
also
a
realize you
distance.
need to let go.
Yeah.
Well, I think Mariah has let go, and that's why he's there. There's been
Well,
several
yeah, but
times where
yeah.
Nick has called
Yeah.
and said, like, Mariah, I'm leaving now. Come, like, get me a flight. I'm coming home right now. Or get me.
Oh gosh, so many times.
And
Yeah.
Mariah has done everything in her power to not have him come back home. Because if it was up to Nick, in certain times, and Heather, you can vouch for this for Mariah and I if you want, but there's been several times where Nick almost came back to Mariah, and Mariah did not do that, which proves that Mariah is really honestly working on herself, and she's trying so hard to do good for herself. Now, the end goal might be that they're both going down two different roads, and they're both doing their sobriety thing and working on themselves. And right now, Nick honestly is working on himself. He is sober. He is in a sober living house, and he is doing step work, and he is trying his hardest. He's devoted his entire soul to this situation. And he's given up his phone, which is one of the hardest rugs that you can imagine. For Nick, that's stronger than almost the H word that Mariah mentioned. So, like, the fact that he gave his phone, that's a big step. And he doesn't have his phone still to this day. He's using a home line to call Mariah and to call me if he calls me, like, anytime soon. But, like, I'm just saying, like, the point is that they're working on themselves. If later on in the future they end up going down the same path and they end up colliding and becoming back together, whatever that story could be, I think Mariah is literally on her self journey by herself in this moment, and I'm so proud of her. And I think that's what, like, Heather would say, is that, like, Mariah is working very hard, and it's not really about Nick. Is what when I hear her talk, it's not for Nick, it's not about Nick, it's about Mariah.
No, it's Mariah. She needs to take care of Mariah and let Nick take care of Nick, because there's nothing she can do. I mean, honestly, Nick still hasn't hit his rock bottom. He's used to this type of living style, and he needs to learn how to be an adult. A man. And he, you always hear him say, "Oh, I'm a man." But a real man doesn't say that. He needs to learn. I'm glad he's in a safe place. I'm not the biggest fan of Graceland, but I've been watching the videos they've been putting out, and it just looks like Pat being Pat to me. It's not I don't know. It's just frustrating. I mean, like that one video where they show him, sorting and cleaning stuff up, and you're supposed to be having a meeting, not cleaning. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think when it comes to Graceland,
Sorry for crying.
no, I'm proud that you cried here.
Yeah, don't be sorry.
I hate crying. And
But no, you need to cry to let it out.
Weakness.
Same, I was taught that too. And Mariah, a little bit. I've never shared this before publicly, but to relate to you, I found someone that I was in love with, obsessed with. I was so happy. One day I walked into my bathroom and he was laying on the floor, and I thought that he had like a heart attack. I didn't know what happened. I called 911 and they're like, "Try this, turn him over." And I had to pull stuff out of his throat. Like there was like this chunks of like white stuff all in his mouth, and I couldn't get it out. And I kept digging, and they were like, "Clear his airway, turn him on his side." And I was listening to the lady tell me everything to do. And they were like, "Is he breathing?" And I was like listening as I was like trying to clear his throat. And I got like one breath every like 50 seconds that I was counting in the 3 minutes that I was like on the phone with them. And then the ambulance came in and they were like, "Does he get what's the problem, and what do you think is happening?" And I was like, they thought immediately it was an OD. And I was like, "No, there's definitely not that. He's been sober for a long time. It's not happening." And then they literally Narcaned him, and within seconds he woke up. And my whole world was shattered. I could not believe that this happened in my home, in my life, and someone I'm in love with and been with and dating. And so I understand what happened with your sister. I was right there in that exact moment. Thankfully, with my story is I got to save someone. So
I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't mean to take it into a heavy situation. I just wanted Mariah to be strong and realize that, and know,
Well,
just work a program and be strong.
Lori, what
It's
you
okay, Lori. I haven't cried in a long time, so it might be
Lori
necessary.
wasn't about like a hit about Nick. What you released was something about her sister. Who didn't know?
Yes. I needed to hear Lori's story. I'm sorry crying is, like I said in my book, a weakness, but thank you, Lori, because I haven't cried in a long time, and that comes with part of the recovery is feeling your feelings again, right?
Right. And there's no shame in crying. It's okay.
Amen.
It shows that you've got emotion and that you've got a love. You're human.
And also, you might not have been able to fully go through your sister's grieving while you were.
No, I haven't even processed it. I've been shoving it back since it happened. I've been shoving about 15 years of bullshit back, and that's why I advocate for not to take it off myself, but just in similarity of Nick getting mental health, because I cannot wait till my insurance kicks in for my work and I get to go do that. I'm dying to talk to someone.
Yeah, we talked about that today.
Yeah.
Mariah and I talk about all kinds of things. Like I said, I'm always been here to boost her up, especially when here on TikTok, people are always saying bad things and they don't understand why she took him back and took him back and took him back. It's hard, and she has to get to the point where she feels good about herself. And I've told her now it's time for you to work on you. Nick's in a place where he can work on Nick, and you need to work on you.
Yeah.
And Lori, I hope you know that we love you, and I'm proud of you that you shared your story.
Thank you, Lori.
I know it was for Mariah, but I also know that you are still going through a really hard time with your son in certain aspects. I know how alone you are, so I'm proud of you that you felt comfortable enough here to share a lot of your pain that you have with us in this moment. So don't ever.
Yeah, because that's one thing I've experienced. People are like, I'm sorry, and it's just like, you feel like people don't understand and you're tired of them saying they're sorry. And, you either deal with it or you shove it back. And I'm just selfishly trying to build myself up right now. So I shove it back.
That's not being selfish.
That's not selfish at all. That is far from selfish.
Power.
You've got to take care of you, Mariah. You're the most important person to take care of. And once you get the counseling, and because I know you need to talk more about your sister, and
fuck yeah, many things.
She's told me the whole story about her sister, and it just broke my heart. I was like, oh my goodness. Because Mariah, how long have we been talking now? Almost 3 years?
Yeah. And I've told you, it started with my parents, and just so much trauma, literally up until, the 7 years off of age and the months off of everything else. I've never said this out loud, so please be kind. I've never been sober since I was 9 years old, right? So I've always numbed. I've always not dealt with it. In my family, physical, therapy is just not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not talked about. We shove it back, and that's how you deal with it. So, I'm excited to go through the bullshit. It's literally going to be harder than getting off of my DSC to deal with the trauma. But I'm ready.
And it's once you start counseling, because I've been through so much counseling, and I don't know if everybody here knows, I'm almost 11 years sober myself. So once you start going through counseling, because I've been going through counseling since I was 26 years old, it starts bringing up things that you've forgotten about. And you're like, oh my God. And you didn't realize you were stuffing that back too. It brings up a lot of emotions, but you'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Lori, you okay?
Yep.
Okay, just take it on you.
Thank you, Heather, for letting me
you're
do this
welcome,
here.
honey.
Thank you,
I'm always
Jessica.
here for you. Always. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'm still here.
Thank you, Jessica. I don't mean to bring this to your live, but thank
This is
you.
what this is what we do here. Like we talk about things. This is important. And someone like my friend Grace just shared this helped her with losing her dad. People are sharing that one of their family members is in recovery. They lost people. So like you guys are having a conversation that is very real. With the world being the way it is, with the election and all this crazy stuff happening, mental health is a very serious conversation. No matter what your journey is, all of us are feeling something. So to have real conversations where Lori's sharing like she is, Heather's sharing, we're all Ashley and you and the talk about more with the girls a minute ago, like these conversations can be either a growing moment, a learning moment, or a moment where y'all can kind of step back and have a moment to like reflect and also think about what we're going through and know that we're okay. We have a support system. So to know that you have me, to know Lori has me, to know you have Heather, and the way the whole circle works on TikTok, I think it's very important. I'm glad that we have this app, honestly. I think it's just as powerful as it is dangerous.
Mariah, I don't know if you saw where someone in here, because you keep saying I'm sorry. Stop saying I'm sorry. But
It's
they
hard.
say you're helping other people by letting people know what's going on with you too, because people always feel like they're alone.
Yeah. And people who are invested in Nick, in that whole like saga and Nick verse, whatever this whole thing is, like you're a huge part of that. Like you're a big percentage of it. So we all are. Like I didn't know much about you. I was more, going live with Nick. I seen you in the background. I seen you washing his hair and things like that. I didn't fully know you, but I knew exactly what you did and who you were and what role you played. And I'm just as invested in your recovery and you doing well as I am him. And I feel like that's how a lot of this community is. Just as toxic as they are, I think I think more people are rooting for you actually than Nick in this moment.
Yeah, they love me. No, I'm just kidding. No, they are. They're very supportive.
I think they love you, honestly. I honestly do. I think some people don't. Some people hold you accountable, and you hold yourself accountable. But a lot of people really, honestly, are screaming, "Let's go!" To you, which is awesome.
Well, I thank everybody. I thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Lori, for sharing your story. Thank you, Ashley, for being such a fucking boss and a ride or die.
Thank you for the chat. This chat is powerful. Where people are
all of them. They've all been so kind, and that's something I'm not used to. I have huge quarrels with being social and the anxiety behind it. And yeah,
I'm proud of Mariah for coming in a box, because I know
girl, I said I would never again. I even told Nick today. I was like, listen, I hopped into a box to give an update, so people would quit with the craziness. I was like, but I'm not going to do it again. And then everything was happening with Jessica, and I was like, no, I'm not fucking leaving my girl hanging. Like, I got to go fucking have her back, even if it's silently leaving my girl hanging. Like,
Oh, yeah. Mariah, also remember this, though. I know how much you want to help Nick and be there for Nick, but you can't help anybody until you help yourself first.
Exactly.
You are the most important person to you.
And I agree with that, Ashley. I agree with that, Ashley, but you have to understand something about Mariah. And so, like, a part of her doing well, a part of her journey, so we don't have to agree on this, just so we're all clear. We don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. But I know for Mariah to do okay, and for Mariah to get up and go to work every day and to bust her ass to get the car she got, to get an apartment, she wants to have a pet soon, like to accomplish these goals that she has set. The way that she is going to do okay is she has to know that Nick is okay. She doesn't have to see him. She don't have to like be in a relationship with him. She don't have to like hear "I love you" every day. Like no, she's not looking for that type of commitment. She just has to know that he is okay. He is in a dangerous situation. So what she seeks out is just to know that he is okay. That's all she wants. A phone call once a week, a phone call once a month, a phone call every other day. Whatever he's looking for, she's going to answer the phone. She's not always available because she does work, but she just wants to know he's okay. And it's a mother-like instinct, because Nick has a lot of son-like traits. When you're dating him or you're friends with him, there's this moment where you're almost like a protector too. So
Yeah.
a part of her strength is knowing that he's okay. So she's not an enabler or a problem, or Nick is not a problem for her at this exact moment. Nick is actually helping her grow in this moment and making it where she can be, so she can focus on herself.
And my parents say that too, you know, just focus on myself, and I know that's where it starts. I'll just state factually, in my opinion, I'm stronger than him. It became a relationship of just like, yes, like Jessica said, I absolutely will always have to I will always have to take care of him, because I feel like until he gets the real mental help he needs, he's not going to be capable of doing it fully on his own. So I'll always support him from a distance, but I will always put me first. Even if it doesn't seem that way, I will always put me first, because I know that it starts with me.
So like our
But
first time meeting you,
I just meant like health wise and mental health wise. Like
yes,
that's all.
yes, ma'am. I knew what you meant. And I thank you for saying that, because you're absolutely right. Because even not hearing from him those 2 weeks, it fucked me up. And I was angry at that. I was angry at the fact that it fucked me up, because I was just like,
it messed your mental health up. Honestly, bro.
Yeah.
And
I was angry at Nick. I was like, you know, selfishly, I was like, you're being selfish too, because you inserted yourself in calling me and wanting me to follow this journey and just be friends. But if it's not going to help my self-healing and attempting to love Mariah again, which I don't really know what that looks like, if it doesn't help that, then just stay away, right? Stay away. But at the end of the day, I will always ride for mine. But I do understand a healthy boundary of survival of the fittest. It's me or you, you know?
And you have to keep those boundaries to keep yourself moving forward. Because you can't let him, you know, and we've talked about this, you can't let him make you take steps backwards.
Yeah.
well, Mariah sent me a text today. She was like, "Hey, I talked to Nick. Everything's really good. I'm really proud of him. Whatever." It was a great text. At the end of the text, she said, "He's supposed to call me back later, but I'm not sure I'm going to answer." And that could have been because she was at work or like that. But that little tiny statement at the very last part, I was like, okay, I'm rooting for you, Mariah. Like, you're back on track. Like, before it was like she would answer every phone call, or like, you know, that was her love. Now there's a boundary kind of set. Like, yeah, I answered his call. I know he's safe now, so now I'm going to do me. And
I want to find my power.
So I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you. And thank you, ladies, for talking to me, even though you made me cry. And I hate crying, but thank you.
You made us all get emotional too. Like, we all were on the journey with you, and it was a great moment to have this moment. So I love you all. I'm going to close up boxes. So Lori, Heather, Ashley, and Mariah, what an honor. And those who are in the chat, make sure you're following these people. Also, you can show them love in any kind of way you want, just by reaching out and just telling them that you appreciate them sharing kind words.
Tiny.